Hello there everyone, it's Chris here. You might know me better as Creed, the name I've used since childhood. Today I'm excited to dive into a topic that's very close to my heart, the journey of learning to code. Whether you're a novice or a seasoned programmer, I hope my tale will inspire you and offer some valuable insights. I'm going to share with you how long I've been coding, what programming languages I learnt, and how much money I have earned so far, so be sure to stick to end. Let me start by saying I've always had a passion for computers. Since childhood, I've been fascinated by them, and I think that's why programming feels so natural to me now. My journey into the world of coding began 6 years ago, but it wasn't a planned one. You see, I was initially aiming for a medical degree. However, due to the prohibitive cost of medical programs, I found myself drawn into the world of programming. My first encounter with programming was with C++. I gave it a shot, but it felt complex and not very beginner-friendly. This initial setback led me to take a brief hiatus from programming. A few months later, I returned to the coding world, this time starting with Visual Basic. Yep, you heard it right. I didn't start with Python, JavaScript, or Java, but Visual Basic. Then I moved on to Batch, a scripting language on Windows. Around that time, most of my peers were familiar with HTML and CSS, so I decided to learn those as well. From there, I continued my journey by learning Java, Dart, JavaScript, and Python. I eventually returned to C++ when I needed to build games using the Unreal Engine. I also dabbled in other languages like C#, Kotlin, Rust, and Perl for various projects. However, I didn't become as proficient in these as I did in the others. It's essential to note that I'm a self-taught programmer. I learned by watching countless videos, reading documentation, and completing numerous projects. The internet was my teacher and guide. I found the process of self-learning incredibly satisfying. One critical piece of advice I can offer budding programmers is to start with the basics. Understand the fundamentals of programming, like variables, functions, and loops. They might seem cliché, but they truly are the building blocks of your coding journey. As for which programming language to choose, there's no definitive answer. It depends on a multitude of factors, including your personal interests, career goals, and the type of projects you want to work on. I will personally recommend JavaScript, then Python, and spice it up with C++, money I made from programming. Since I started to code, I have freelanced mostly, but it has made me a few cool bucks. The first money I made from programming was building a crypto website. Actually used that money to buy a sweet new machine. Since then, I have got a few jobs here and there and earned as low as $400 and as high as $10,000. I can tell you, just from freelancing alone, I'm doing quite well. I'm currently working on a startup company, do not worry. That is a story for another video. A little advice. Coding can be a little frustrating at times. I once had a bug I could not solve for 3 days, turned out to be just a poor internet connection. So please do not let a few bugs distort your coding journey. And the one tip any seasoned programmer will tell you is practice, practice, practice. I may break my coding journey into a few minutes video, but the brutal truth is that they can be very challenging. I feel people who do not tell people this are just at the end going to hurt you even more. Like everything, becoming better would not come easy, but just a few sleepless nights maybe. I am very confident that if I did, you can too. To summarize, my coding journey has been a roller coaster ride filled with ups, downs, and countless learning opportunities. It taught me resilience, patience, and the importance of a strong foundation. Remember, there's no perfect route to becoming a proficient programmer. The key is to keep learning, practicing, and embracing the challenges along the way. Becoming a master in programming in 4 or 6 months is an illusion, because even seasoned programmers are still learning something new. You are in a field that is constantly evolving. Where to learn programming languages? Honestly, Contents on YouTube does a very great job, and I will advise you start from there if you want to become self-taught and do not have the financial means to go for paid ones, which I would not recommend when you are starting out. I will leave links to channels that do a great job in the various programming languages. Also, if you want a programming language to start with, JavaScript or Python, personally JavaScript, both expose you to a lot, and starting with either is going to be very beneficial. The pay is definitely good whether you are freelancing or have a job, and the key to becoming better is just practice. That's my story, my journey, short but long. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I will catch you in the next video.